We're going to do this. We were having some trouble with Keshe's connection. So here we are. We have interviewed Keshe about a year ago, and we got a chance to do an update, and I got the word that we could do an update. Keshe, I guess, had been staying off media for a while. I'm not sure how long. We can discuss that and what was going on with everything. But we're very pleased to have you here. Keshe is an Iranian physicist who has this foundation involved with plasma physics and possibly other devices as well. And he can explain all of that to you. I'm going to have him do most of the introduction for himself. He works out of Belgium, and he has an organization called the Keshe Foundation. And anyone who has been, who purchased or who came through to get into this chat would have been able to see various details about the Keshe background, and can also research prior interviews as background information. So last night we were announced on Coast to Coast. I'm assuming that we, as a result, got a substantial number of people to take part in this conversation. I'm hoping to get some people that I've invited specifically, Keshe, to ask some very good questions, and to join us on the Skype in the background. So we're going to hopefully do that as well. So could you introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are, and then give us a brief update as to what has been going on lately?
As you know, I'm a nuclear physicist, and I have done some nearly 30-40 years of research into working of the universe through the operation of the magnetic fields rather than the material side which us as humans are involved in. And through this process, instead of replicating man-made entities like jet planes and propulsion, we look at the motion, creation of motion and energy and life the way the universe does. And that's why some of the things we talk about looks strange, but it's the most logical thing which we know. So there is nothing new we add to this technology, to this knowledge. We just have put the order into the physics which has been ignored, deliberately ignored, or because of the lack of knowledge we ignored part of it. In general, it can be said, up to now we replicated the birds and Chinese fireworks, as I usually say. Now we are understanding and replicating the way the universe works.
Okay. For the past year, though, Keshe, you have been, I think, going through what I would say sort of a trial by fire. You have done several live events, at least in Europe that I'm aware of, where you invited many scientists, and I believe many scientists did show up. Can you tell us what was your progress and how were you received?
In the past year, we have opened our own center, and we give presentations, and we discuss new ways of looking at the science. We've done 2 lectures up to now, one about magnetism and one about health, where we look at the creation of energy and transfer of energy through the way the universe works. How we receive, we never know. It's we have established a very solid base forum, and at this moment the biggest change has been that we have handed over our technology freely to over 60% of world population governments. And that has been a big revolution, and some of the governments at the moment have a problem to digest how such advanced technology is freely given to them. So we have to wait and see.
I see. Well, have scientists come to you and asked you questions, and have they been satisfied with your answers?
Scientists don't come and ask questions. We organize presentations, and in one of the presentations we have our own auditorium. It's a limited number. In one presentation we had scientists from 20 or people from 22 different nations flying from all over the world to be present. So from the feedback we get, yes, some are, and some of them are in the process of changing the past to the new. And the only resistance we see is people who carry a title like a doctor or a professor, because that's a bit too far-fetched for the degrees they attain or the piece of paper they carry. So the only opposition we see is from the people who carry a title and they have to defend that title. And it's strange enough, the common people understand the simplicity of how everything works and they can follow it.
Okay. Well, can you talk about what specifically the application of your science? In other words, has it been put into working effect? Have any governments picked up on it and begun to, for example, build spacecraft that can go interstellar?
I think the capture of the American drone last year, prior we announced it, is a good proof of it.
Okay, and so when you say you captured it, it's proof of...
It's captured by the Iranian government,
right,
through the technology, and for the first time we showed in a video form, or what do you call it, sketch, exactly how it was done, because there was a lot of controversy was done by jamming and blocking, and we showed you don't need to jam because you can literally capture it physically.
Okay, if you captured it physically, are you saying that you used a another plane to capture it using...
The system is very much replication of Earth working. So, but the size of the magnetosphere of the Earth is fixed because of the material within the central core of the Earth. With this technology, you can vary the size and the dimension and the strength of the magnetosphere, and so you make it to the size of the craft or the item which you want to enclose and capture. So it's very simple. You don't need to do much.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, what about the building of spacecraft that have plasma engines, so to speak?
These plasma reactors already been built and it's getting tested.
Okay.
You have it's on the. It'll be shown by the government very soon, sooner than people can think.
I see. And is there other governments besides Iran involved in this?
Put it this way, as you know, on the day of your presidential election on the 6th of November, it's on our website, you can read it. At 3:45 in the afternoon, I received a direct email from the American Embassy in Brussels that they would like to receive the technology and the USB stick of the nuclear plasma of the Keshe Foundation, the spaceship program. And we handed over the full technology, all the patterns and the blueprints as we have it and as we test, and has been tested by the Iranian government to the American officials from the embassy on the 15th of November on their request. And so American government is already part of the Keshe Foundation spaceship program. And as far as we know, NASA is already studying the whole patterns and the whole procedure.
Okay.
So you are part of, you are all, actually American space program and American, what do you call it, NASA is already looking into this. And I have to mention to you that we can show emails that after the 21st of September presentation in Keshe Foundation, we had some 20-odd scientists. We received an email from NASA management top guys in NASA saying NASA would like to talk with Keshe. So yes, even the American government is looking into this technology now.
Okay, well, has NASA talked to Keshe?
Yes, very closely, on close quarters.
I see.
We don't disclose. We don't disclose, and it stays that way till the next step.
Okay, well, that's very good. You say some governments are having problems with the technology. Is that because they won't accept the premise of what you're doing?
The problem they have is accepting something free and such advanced technology free. 15 nations have received the key, the USB stick with all the patterns and the designs. And we have said before, and we say the same, governments have a small window of time to come out, adopt, or talk about what they want to do. Otherwise, we start teaching the scientists of the nations. And we have already started this process as of last week on our top group, study top group on the Keshe Foundation forum. And we start teaching heavily from the weeks coming, which means everybody will start learning in details how to build and how to understand technology, be it on aspects of energy, the space program, health, food, materials, and we are making a good progress for what we are doing.
Okay, the scientists that you are teaching this to, are they part of the 15 countries, or are they from all over the world?
They are from all over the world. But the thing is, for example, last Sunday, from one of the nations which received the USB stick, the technology, about a month ago, because their officials attended the Keshe Foundation International Ambassadors Conference in our center about 6 months ago, and then about 2 months ago. The government officials asked that if they can bring their scientists at the highest level to understand the technology. So they flew in some 20 specialists last Sunday. We welcomed them at the Keshe Foundation Center. We went through the whole material, the whole principle, and we gave them some of the materials which we have developed for them to take back. And in that group was a senior member of the Senate and a senior member of the Research and Development Science Technology of the government. So governments, they understand the change and they can see the change, and the next 4 or 5 weeks I'm flying to the nation to start teaching the scientists by the invitation of the parliament.
I see, but by the invitation of the parliament of that particular country, or
yeah, of that country, yes.
I see, and I take it you don't want to name the specific countries?
No, we don't. We don't kiss and tell. And the thing is, we even told the nations that once you receive the key, we're going to put it in public that you received it. And some people misrepresented this or what we put out in the way that we were trying to make something out of it. But like when we videoed the handing over of the key, they thought this is not official. This wasn't done to do anything. It was done for the archives, when it's so simple to hand over the technologies. And then they added something else to it. So anybody can read through it whatever they like, but the way we are going and the way we are getting welcomed by the nations who understood the technology, it's very interesting and amazing.
Okay, now did you know that I sent you a notice yesterday that you were going to be announced, that we were doing this conversation today on Coast to Coast, And Sterling Allen, I don't know if you know who he is. I sent you a link to his.
I would not speak to Sterling Allen. He knows the reason why.
You would not.
He came to our center. I know him. I gave him a couple of interviews.
I see.
But I told him he's going to be on the bounds of what he put on, so we leave him. He's a good man, but we prefer not to talk to him anymore.
I see. And when he said that video, do you know the video he's talking about? He said it was a fake video. Do you know anything about that?
That's what we put on. We said it's a fake video. That's why I especially put that on for people to judge. This is part of the teaching program which we have started. It's not something, you can't take it out of, what do you call it?
Context?
It's not context, but it's part of the teach. When you teach people, you show them, it's for you in the classroom. When the teacher brings something, he puts it on the front, and it's for the students to judge what is correct or what they think about it.
I see.
So I put that video on the way it came to us, but afterwards I put my opinion, the way I think of what it was fake, but I put in there, is it fake or real? It's for you to judge, because you can't take the hand of people and walk them everywhere. They have to start understanding it. So
okay, that's a very good point.
You will start seeing a lot of things like this on our study group. These people come in and take one link out of a study group. We started this study group about last Friday, and I think around it's about 20,000, views up to now. Mm-hmm. The people are organizing themselves into groups to evaluate it and do it and join in.
Okay.
And I have started teaching or trying to explain from the practical point of view the things we have, the tests we've done. And in the same text, I advise them, these are the things when you start doing the test you can do, you cannot do. We know a lot of government scientists are looking into this, so if they're replicating or making the systems, they know where the pitfalls are. We don't keep back that this is ours. Now the technology belongs to humanity, so instead of them going and destroying so many auxiliary systems or the reactor, I start teaching them from the basic, these are the problems we have faced, and in a very human way, in a very correct way, I advise them how you have, for example, to have auxiliary tanks or tanks that the plasma gets emptied into, and I explain the reason. Sometimes, and in some cases, as they learn more, I explain more to them. Like when you run a system, these are the features you see, and these are the things you have to do. So there are people who just come and read and go, but there are scientists who are actually studying what comes out because they are making copies of these systems, and they want to make it to work the way they see it. So I will put a lot of things like this is for the people to judge if it's correct, if it's wrong, or what is their opinion. And I've just put recently, last week, in the same forum, I'm a student, I'm here to learn like you from the others. So they bring the problems or they see something, they put it out, and I try to explain from what I see, or sometimes I don't answer the question because I'm not there, I wait for other people to answer to see what they understood. Most of the people around the study group are people who've read the books or they've been around the internet. And secondly, it's time for people to do it because our patterns are out. It's for you to do it, not us.
Okay. But when you say it's for us to do it or for the scientists to do it, is your organization going to try to develop all of these things yourself as well?
We already have. Whatever we talk about, we already have developed.
I see. And so
whatever we talk about is not a fairy tale.
I understand.
But I have built a structure that even I explain to you something very easy, Kerry. If you go on our website, you see a man who has Parkinson, and he's had Parkinson. He's got double neural pacemaker on his chest, which is connected to the back of his brain. He could not walk or talk properly, smell or taste, and the rest of it because of the Parkinson. And now this guy does 3-5 kilometers of cycling a day. He does a couple of kilometers of walking a day. He looks after himself. He lives a normal life near enough for age of 70 odd years. And people said, oh, you employed a very good actor. So whatever we do, there is some people come to us. So the way I say, in a simple English way, I say, you know, whatever you want to do, you do. We carry on with our work because, as there is an old say, you cannot shut the mouth of everybody in one go. So there are people who are opposing or trying to say they know better. They try to confirm their own existence. We are not here to confirm anything. We are just here to teach freely.
Okay. Have you? It's true that this plasma sort of reactor or whatever can power spacecraft, correct?
It's not powering. But put it this way. Where are you now? Where are you?
I'm north of Los Angeles in California.
Okay. You're in Los Angeles. I'm in Belgium. Let's say if you enter a craft, you enter from the front. I'm sitting in the front row and you're in the back row because the daylight comes later to you. We call this craft the Earth.
Yes.
And this is exactly what we done. We look up, our grandparents, our forefathers looked at the birds, they copied the bird, made the metal out of it. Since we got the information and technology how to put 2 jet engines on it, we call it aeroplane. Us, human beings, have been on this craft, what we call Earth, and this aircraft has been rotating at 1,600 kilometers an hour around itself for day and night, has been moving at 10,000 kilometers in orbit around the sun for our annual cycle. And the sun itself has been running around for 100,000 kilometers in the galaxy. And the galaxy, they say, is moving at 1 million. So can anybody tell me where is the engine with the system? Where is the propulsion? Where are the wings? So now we understand the way these motions in the universe are created. So if you decide to ignore it and now you think we are ridiculous, it's your fault, not ours.
Okay. So have you flown? Okay, but have you flown in one of these craft?
We do not answer that. You will know very soon.
Oh, really? Okay.
You will know very soon.
Okay, because I would like to fly in one of these craft.
It's a very interesting feeling.
Yes.
And what will happen, you will feel no difference than what you fly at the moment in the jetliners. In the jetliners of today, we enforce 1G with compression. On Earth, we walk around the Earth at 1G because of the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth. Now we learn the same thing. In these crafts, you travel around with 1G, the same as your magnetic gravitationally induced or created. So you will feel no difference than what you do at the moment on Earth when you travel in these crafts.
Except you can go much faster, right? In other words, I'm going to Egypt on Sunday. I have to fly for 16 hours or more.
If you are very nice and you can speak very nicely to the Iranian spaceship program officials, fly you to Tehran, Washington around about let's say about less than half an hour. So go and ask the Iranian governments if you could have a lift, they will tell you.
Okay, do you...
Don't forget, let me put this, I'll put this very clearly, and I'll put this to your officials when I handed the key to the American government on the 15th of November.
Yes.
His Excellency President Ahmadinejad, in his talk and the Iranian defense minister in their talk keep on telling people and they keep on ignoring it because it suits you. When the Iranian officials said we can reach the shores of the United States a few months ago, people laughed. They said, oh, they just managed to get one ship across the Suez Canal, now they think they can come to America. But go back 3-4 months before, the Iranian official announced they have a spaceship program. Space program is NASA's propulsion and jet. The spaceship program is magnetic gravitational. What they meant was they can reach the shores of America with the spaceship program. It's undetectable. I explained that to your officials. And if Iran would say we can reach Washington, then becomes aggression. Reaching the shore, you never cross the border. There is no aggression. So when a nation announces that they reach a shore, now Tehran, Washington is minutes than hours. So I think somebody has to take the wisdom or has to understand, the same with His Excellency President Obama, that it's time to talk peace, to talk reality. And the funny thing is, when Iran says something, we achieve such a thing, it's all hullabaloo. But if you look at the news yesterday, the day before, Ministry of Defense of America with Boeing, they've done a test, they got a missile which runs over a city and just does what we call magnetic saturation, just to blank out all the computers without the structural damage. And that is a great achievement. So we passed you, you're 20 years, 30 years old, you're playing toy game. So if the Americans do a toy game, it's very big, but the Iranians achieved such a huge step in the space technology, has to be denied and laughed at. It's the way you run the media, so it doesn't matter what you do.
Yes, soon, I understand.
Very soon, the people who deny, they'll come to understand that they shot themselves in the foot. Because the Iranian government is not the aggressive government, even doesn't matter how they want to turn it. Now they have the spaceship program, they are deep into space travels and space exploration, the way they understand it, and they are playing very basic games with this technology at the moment because they are trying to explore. The same as NASA did with the rockets and Apollo 30, 40 years ago. But this time, we don't burn fuel anymore. We create magnetic gravitational field and we get attracted to the point of destination. And this is much easier than burning fuel. We carry payload according to what we can jam into the rocket. We carry few atoms as we can open the plasma. We create a stronger or weaker magnetic field of it, and we move. We will show one of the weight reduction videos which was given to Boeing 4 years ago, and Boeing deliberately did not pass it on to NASA to block the technology. We will show this very soon on the internet.
Okay, what do you mean that Boeing did not pass it on to NASA? What did they do? Keep it? Did they use it?
In 2006, 2007, we signed a non-disclosure with Mr. Alan Kennedy, who was a senior attorney, intellectual property attorney of NASA. And NASA decided at that time that Boeing, they appointed Boeing to look into the Keshe Foundation technology. They organized and they facilitated 3 of our representatives, me and 2 other directors of Keshe Foundation. We traveled to Strasbourg, European University, a space university in Strasbourg, to meet with officials of NASA and Boeing. In that meeting, everything was passed over to Boeing for Boeing to develop the Keshe Foundation technology. These are all recorded. All the emails with Boeing, everything is black and white, downloaded, printed, that nobody can discuss it later on. So we went and we sat down. There was a conference in Strasbourg in the Space University. They stopped the conference. We made a presentation to 3 of the NASA Boeing representatives. You can ask, I can give you the name of the gentlemen who are in the room, and then they went back to state. We carried on negotiating and discussing the development. Then 3 years ago, now Boeing moved 3 of their specialists from around the world, Spain, England, and somewhere else, to a meeting in the head office in Brussels. We showed them the space reactor. We took it to them. It's how simple. It only weighs about 7 kilograms. We showed them, we gave them the video of the weight reduction, and it took them 2 months to take a CD from Brussels to Boeing headquarters in the state, where they have 10 or 15 flights a day. And at the end, we were told by the officials at the Boeing, this is endangering our work because we invested billions in 747, the latest model, 767,
right.
And we cannot afford to lose this, so we have to block you.
Yeah.
I can give the name of the gentleman. I can give you. We gave it to the American officials. All the documentation are there.
Yes.
We've been talking to NASA through Boeing for nearly 4 years. I have a non-disclosure with Boeing. I have a non-disclosure with NASA.
Mm-hmm.
But people tell us who they have evaluated it deep enough. They know exactly what the problem is. Part of the technology which they claim they can do, the blocking they showed yesterday, is being copied out of our system. I can show you that. I can come up with it exactly and tell you exactly what it is.
Okay,
let me explain to you.
Sure.
The other gentleman who spoke about the plasma technology and getting help from Iran to develop it, in the background shows the Keshe Foundation reactor. So they are using our patents, which are freely open, and developing it. That's good. There is nothing wrong with it. But organization like Lockheed Martin, they have studied our technology in detail. They're trying to piecemeal it to see what they can make weapon out of it to kill. And we refuse to collaborate with them.
I see.
Lockheed Martin, I have a non-disclosure with Lockheed Martin since 2004, 2005. And the same goes with the British government. We have non-disclosure. With the officials in Belgium, we have non-disclosure. Instead of signing all these non-disclosures, now we give the technology freely to the government. And the government have a time, 2 to 3 months. And we have already started the teaching process. There are people who come there, they want to go to the moon, they want to see aliens. Oh, that's their problem. There are scientists who really want to develop the technology for space, for energy. We are there to support them, but in the work you get some idiots, so you have to cope with them all.
Okay, well, what about the secret space program? You must be aware of this, right?
What secret? There is no secret. They gave it to the government.
No, I mean before your organization, since the 1940s and possibly earlier.
I don't get involved in these things. Yeah, there must have been. I don't think there is not enough intelligence in human race not to achieve some point of this technology somewhere. People think whatever government does, they have to put it on the table. It's never been that way. 99% of the population don't have the intelligence to understand what is the whole thing. Everybody understands a bit of it. Even the scientists who are involved understand a bit of it.
Right.
But
what I'm saying is you do understand, you are seeing close up, of course, that this problem like you're having with Boeing, this is the crux of the matter on planet Earth, is why this...
The British government, listen, darling, we had this with the British government in 2002, 2004.
Right.
That's why when the Belgian officials or Belgian organizations invited us to come to Belgium, we came here. Because the only thing they want to use my technology for, up to now, how to make weapons to kill more, to destroy more, to make more money.
Right.
And every single case, I blocked it. I went to the headquarters of Lockheed Martin, near Oxford in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And I sat there, they put a conference call with about 10, 11, 12 of the top scientists around all offices of Lockheed Martin around the world.
Yes.
And they realized what's in their hand. They had to stop it somehow. Because I explained to the strike missile head, the top man, I can even give you his name, he's moved again, that my technology is not for weapon technology. They understood it. Lockheed Martin was one of the first organizations in the world who understood what was on the table.
Sure.
So
I hear you. So at this moment, though, they have tried to stop you. Is this not correct?
No, nobody has. We've been trying to be stopped in Belgium through discrediting.
I see.
So, but in a way, this is happening through very few people who they think are sitting on the realm of power, and their time is over. Secondly, we are finished with Belgium. We are totally finished with Belgium.
Really?
Yes. I had enough of.
I see.
I had enough of what do you call it? We still live here. Scientifically, working here for me is over. There is no.
I'm very sorry to hear that, but I visited Belgium. I was in Antwerp recently, and I heard that there's all kinds of crackdowns in the government. They are cracking down on free speech in all sorts of areas.
No. The thing is here, it's a very good country. There is nothing wrong with it, but the only thing is that our technology has fallen in the hand of a few criminals within the structure of the government,
right,
and are very powerful in trying to dictate what's happening. And very soon, it's their problem. They should have taken the technology when it was here, and we are moving. We haven't been asked to move out, but it's better for our technology to move on, and at least we become asset to other nations than being in the hand of a bunch of what I call Peter pirates.
Okay. Well, very interesting. What do you know where you're going? Have you decided where?
If it was in my hand, I would have known where I was 5 years ago. But I have a part which is called a wife, and there's a baggage with it. It's called children. That is the dictating point at the moment. But I think the whole lot of us have made the decision that we came to Belgium for 7 days for the scientists to assess the technology. And we stayed here for 7 years, and we developed a lot of technology here. I thank a lot of good Belgians who helped us.
Sure.
My wife is Belgian. I admire those people who've been close to us.
Yes.
We served each other loyally, and but outside the frame of the people who want to develop it, you have people who sit, a very few, handful of them on the top, who have been stealing technology from scientists for years, and they think it's their right. The only thing they didn't calculate in the whole program that they tried to steal this technology was that I come from 20 years of international business background. That's how I financed this research for 20 years while it was getting developed. So they never calculated that I don't understand the threat, so what the threat they made and the restriction they made backfired on them.
I see. Well, they probably did.
Regularly. They do this regularly to all the scientists here. They threaten them, they steal their technology, or they take main lion's share of the companies they set up, and that's how they run their business. And I've spoken to the Walloons, the French side. They've told us how these few people in the Flemish government run this thing. I openly discussed it with the King of Belgium about a few months ago when I had a meeting with him for about half an hour, 45 minutes. And I asked the King, why is this happening to us here? And all he did, days later, the following day, they called and they tried to discredit us where we were. So the corruption comes from the top to the bottom within the structure of the government, but the King can't do anything, and the others can't do. They run the country. And it's only 4 or 5 people on the top.
Yes, I understand. Okay, well, do you know who Gordon Duff is from Veterans Today?
No.
He's a journalist. Veterans Today, it's you can go to veteranstoday.com. They talk a lot about, they have a number of journalists there. They deal with U.S. military, ex-military veterans, but it's become also a very widely read publication on the internet. and it deals often with subject matter to do with politics and various things going on. He has talked about your plasma physics and basically, validated that it is all true, that it can power whole countries, and so on. And I just wondered if you knew who he was.
No, something which is important for me. I don't want to spend my time reading what other people do, or what other people write, because that time for me is spent doing and developing and writing. People who are close to me, they know I work 18, 20 hours a day. And this time, even my holidays goes on writing and doing something. So who writes? There are people who understand, and they understand the fundamental and the principle behind the technology. They will write about it, and I thank them for understanding it. But this technology, whoever denies it, as I always say, he denies his own existence, because we explain the way creation is done and the things in the universe work. So people who deny it or oppose it are the people who they try to get notoriety on the back of the foundation, or they see a threat to their name on the door, professor.
Okay, well, or they see that their entire sort of industry is going to be undermined because they feel they can't make money, because you can do it better, faster, and easier in the method that you're using.
I've just written an article on this thought group, or on the foundation side, on the foundation forum on its own, and a couple of days ago, that if the pharmaceuticals, if the oil industry and the energy industry understand what we have developed, they will grab us with two hands, they run with it, because they become richer and they make more money. Because they can do things in a much easier way and reach more people in a much deeper way. And for example, I gave an example of the health section of the technology. If you can sell a plasma system for a few hundred or a few $1,000s to a family, all you need to do when you go to the doctor and you start going to the chemist, the pharmaceutical people will sell you the data for that illness to your system or the chair in the house. You sit in it and you go through process. So instead of selling you tablets and prescriptions, they sell you data information how for the cells of the body to reprocess back themselves to better. So they can make more money out of this new technology, because now we're going to understand the essence of creation. The same with the energy people. The same with the, what do you call it? With the...
Well, okay, maybe so, but at least from the health standpoint, the idea of people healing themselves, most health is actually aimed at killing people gradually. They're not interested in healing people.
Put it this way, I'll put it in a bigger frame. They are interested, but they're using people as a guinea pig.
Okay.
There's a big difference. They are interested because if they can crack a code, they can solve a problem with a cancer or whatever, they can make a lot of money. But in the process of getting to there, instead of going through clinical trials of a few hundred or 1,000, they use thousands and thousands of people as masses. It's very strange. I see this quite frequently in my, what I call every Monday medical sessions. A lot of people who come to me are medical doctors and people from medical sector. And they themselves, they say, for example, we don't believe in chemotherapy because we know what it does.
Right.
So how come they prescribe it to their own patients?
Yes, exactly.
I had recently, I can put the email, blank it out and put it out, a doctor in Germany who was sick in his 60s, late 60s, He has told his wife, when they told him there is no solution with all the things and him being a doctor, he said, go and get in touch with Keshe. He's the only one who can save my life. So I had the wife on the line. My husband has asked me to call you. So doctors know, and in a way we start teaching the doctors how to do it themselves for their patients. They're not all ruthless, they're all kind people, they are
Yes.
men and women, but they only can do for what they've been taught. Now we have to teach them a little bit further. As I always say, my technology is not something brand new out of nowhere. My technology and my science is built on what our ancestors and our brothers in the States, in America, in Canada, in China, over centuries have built. So we add another brick on top of this wall. And it's not the last brick, because there is more to build on it.
Okay, can you tell me if China is one of the countries, or if the Asian, if you don't want to single out a country, has been given your technology?
Yes. Yes. It's on our website.
Okay.
I have a good relationship with the Chinese. I have given lectures in Shanghai and Beijing.
Okay.
And, they fully know what we carry.
I see. What about Lawrenceville? I guess it's a physics lab, Lawrenceville. Are you working with them?
Never heard of it.
You've never heard of Lawrence?
I told you I'm totally ignorant.
I see. I'm being told that you are partners. Well, they partner with Iran on the research for plasma.
Is that the organization who's just recently?
I believe they're in New Jersey.
Yeah. They're asking for money and technology from Iran for their plasma energy system, which I put some link on it. I don't know their name, but I've seen their thing, which they, and that's what I said, are we friends or enemies? That's the title of the link on my forum. And I said, how come you go to Iran asking for Iranian nuclear plasma physicists for help for your energy, and then you kill Iranian nuclear physicists who work on the heavy metals? Which one is which? Are we friends or are we enemies? Are we killing each other or are we working together?
Right, exactly. Well, this is very interesting. Do you think that perhaps, I don't know, I'm just asking you, do you think that one of the reasons they want to go to war with Iran is over your technology? Do you think that this is possible?
No.
No?
The war in Iran, if it happens, the losers will be the ones who started. Believe you me, the losers will be the ones who started.
Okay.
I advised before, and I still advise again, do not play games with Iran. Iran is very advanced but very peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But don't rattle the snake because you don't know how it bites.
I see.
I not to attack but to defend. I have explained this several times. The spaceship program, you travel with, it's like having an atmosphere around you. So your craft never comes in touch with the air. You have like Earth atmospheric magnetic field shielding, which is a natural process. We have it in Proton, we have it on Earth, we have it with the solar system, the sun has its own. In these conditions, you fly Mach 20, Mach 30, Mach 40. Intercontinental missiles Mach 2, 3. Come on, play games, boy. Who wants to play games? But don't forget, as I always say, what you send, you should be able to receive. If you throw a punch, you should be able to receive a punch.
Yes.
And if you throw intercontinental missiles or whatever at Iran, and it can be captured the way the drone did, one thing for sure, it's not going to cross the boundary of the Earth. And the only solution for it is, as I always say, is if a friend gives you a gift, you don't throw it in the bin because it's a friend, give it back to him for him to use it because you have no need for it. So if a friend sends you intercontinental missile, to give it back, like in Washington, Los Angeles. So it's no use throwing any of these threats.
Okay.
Israeli government understood the position very clearly. I don't support no government. I don't support American. I don't support the Iranian. I don't support the Israelis. I put the facts on the table. The time of war is finished. As I said, I I was invited to hand over this USB stick on a live television in Sierra Leone to the government of Sierra Leone. And when I went through the universities of Sierra Leone to give lectures, you and I have more equipment in our kitchens than they have in their university lab. And I put an article on my forum, and that is very simple. All these people who talk about the war, all these people who say my father is the director of the defense company, or my father is working with making F blah blah blah, ask yourself one thing. Once these things are made, they have to be used. And once the military hardware used, it means the death of somebody. So if you're so proud your father is head of or works for, let's say, making a bomb or a tank or whatever, so your education comes out of the blood of the others. So you're educated with the blood of other people, and is this correct? Is it correct to kill other people to get your son in a private school or in MIT? How many of the MIT scientists' fathers are working in new name of defense technology? Killing others. Why should we kill? Why should a father doesn't have a son tonight because an American or a German or a Russian or a Chinese made a bomb for him to be able to feed his children? Is one child less precious than the other? Why do we make arms? What's the reason of building all these arms? With this technology, we finish with arms. Everybody has it. This is the beauty of it. Now the Chinese have the same technology as the Americans, as the Sierra Leone, as Sudan, as Bangladesh, as Taiwan, because the embassy of Taiwan sent us an email, we would like to receive the technology, would you mind bringing the key to us? So everybody has it. There is no need for war anymore. And this is the point which we are trying to explain. I said to your high-ranking officer who received the key from us 2 weeks ago, my message to His Excellency President Obama is very simple. We reach out the hand of peace is for you to shake it. There is no need to start wars. Half of the Israel, 1/3, just about 30–40% of Israeli population are Jewish. The state of Jewish Israel was built by the immigration of the Iranian Jews into Israel, into Palestine. Now, the Israelis are threatening that they're going to bomb Iran. You still have 50–100,000 Jews in Iran, and all of them have a family in Israel, and all the Israelis have family in Iran.
Yes.
Are their own cousins? This is all hot air. And then, if any Iranian gets hurt, any number of Iranians gets hurt, they're going to slaughter the Jews. There is no doubt about it, because the anger of the nation being destroyed is not going to be subsided by just bombing Tehran or somewhere else. Huh? We live a peaceful culture in Iran between the Jews, Christians, Muslims, Zoroastrians, and the rest for centuries. Now they are using religion to sell arms. And this has to stop. And that's why we gave the technology to all the nations. If ever Israel decides to bomb Tehran or Iran, the first thing they have to have in their mind, how many Jews they're going to put in danger. And how many of their own cousins and brothers they're going to kill who are living in Israel and they still fly between Tehran and Tel Aviv. On a regular basis, the Iranian Jews travel between Tehran and Tel Aviv and from Tel Aviv to Tehran. Who's going to kill who?
Very good point. Thank you very much for that. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What I would like to do is allow for questions from the audience, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
I answer the ones I like. The ones I don't like, I say pass.
Okay. All right. That's fine. It's completely up to you, whatever you would like. At this time, I'm going to say to the people in the chat room, we have a chat room here on live stream, and people can type questions in caps. If you have questions, please put a question mark at the end of the question as well. And I will try to skim here because I had to launch this whole thing from my computer. I don't have any help right now, but if anyone can gather the questions and Skype them to me, this will also help. So I'm going to look and see what we have here. Okay, well, I guess this is a question that in a certain sense you may have answered partially, but I'm going to ask you anyway. They're saying, even though you have given your technology to the Americans, do you feel that they're going to use it? Do you know what their intention will be to use, on what to do with it?
The intention is to bring friendship and peace, and I think they're going to look at it the same way.
You do.
As I said to the officials, and whenever we give the technology, we don't sign any contracts, we don't sign no non-disclosure, nothing. We just hand over the technology in a gifted box, because that's a gift to your nation. And the only thing I say to the ambassadors or to the officials is that the only condition we ask you, and comes with this key, is do not use it for military or harming nobody. And that's the only condition we put it verbally to them. So the key goes with a good heart and with the right intentions.
Okay. Let's see. How long do you think it'll be before everyday people will be able to have access to this technology?
They already have. We already, every Monday we see 10, 20 people around the world with different diseases who we assess if we can help or not. We had a guy from Moscow this week, and I had a couple from Canada. I have people from the state, from Florida, from California this week. I have people from Italy, from Africa.
Okay, so you see these people, are they coming to visit you too?
Some people fly in, some people we put a Skype on, because it's no use people flying, they're so sick and they spend a fortune to come here. So what we've done in the past 2 or 3 months, my team who are responsible for the health section, they're working very hard. I thank them. I appreciate all the work they're doing in the background. People don't understand. They organize a Skype, half an hour, 20 minutes, an hour. We assess people on live on Skype.
Okay.
If we see we can help, we say we can, and then it goes in the process of the technology to be developed for that disease or for that business. And we tell them how much we value their part, how much we ask for the process, and it's to them to decide if they want to pay, how much they want to pay of it, or they say we have no money, can we have it free? They still get it free.
Okay, what about using the technology for the energy, the foundation energy of a country? Do we have any countries that are using it for their whole people yet?
It's in the hand of your governments. They can implement it tomorrow.
Right.
I have to explain something. When we are negotiating with the scientists at NASA, I was invited to give a lecture on Thanksgiving, on last couple of months ago. You had a Monday holiday of Columbus holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was supposed to give, was it the 8th of September or October? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told to your scientists after I give the lecture in NASA, I'm going around the world for a couple of months for giving lectures in different parts and doing different things for my work. You can have my reactors and work with it, and when I come back, send it back to me. Nobody makes this kind of offers, and nobody does such a thing to nobody. Nowadays, they hide a little bit of whatever they develop. I offered my reactors, the edge of science, to scientists at NASA. They could keep it, they work with it. If they have a problem, I said I can explain to you how to solve it as well. And don't forget, this is what I said before, There are videos of it. When I came out of Iran 5 years ago, the office of His Excellency President Ahmadinejad, whatever I designed, whatever I worked while I was in Tehran, they said, you choose what you want to take with you. All the reactors, everything else was put in boxes, packed, sealed. And we carried the same ethos back with your government. The gift was given to me by Iran as part of the development of technology. The same I gifted to NASA. What did NASA do? We stopped grabbing it. Nobody talks to him. Nobody talks to him. Now they have the key. They are looking at it. But you know something? This car is, as I always say, it's a beautiful Rolls Royce made of fully gold. It's not even gold plated. And it got the most beautiful jewels on it. But the only thing is, nobody has the ignition key except Iran. That's why everybody says the system doesn't work. It's theoretical. Because you don't have the ignition key. We soon will give the ignition key and then you all run together.
Oh, really? So you've kept back a certain part of the key?
No, I haven't kept back. It's in the patterns. You've got to read it the way it is. If you can't read it, it's not my fault. Blessed his soul, Prophet Muhammad has said that in Quran, God has 100 names. He has mentioned 99 of them, and he says if you read Quran from beginning to the end, you have already mentioned the 100th one. And nobody in past 1200 years has found the 100th one yet. So it's like my pattern. If you read my pattern, it's in there. You have to have the wisdom to see where it is.
Okay, well, we can imagine that certain governments will know your pattern. They will actually already have the key. Whether they wish to use it is another matter.
The governments, several governments have started exploring it, understanding it, and looking into it. And we are helping them. We try to explain to them what they don't understand.
Okay. Was your plan to perhaps seed this technology to many governments simultaneously, and then once they had all the blueprints to give them the final key at a later date? Was that the plan?
The plan is that we give it to the government and the citizens at the same time.
I see. So when you say the citizens, are you talking about companies? In other words,
world population. It will go at the same time together.
I see. And when will that be? When will that be?
I'm still alive, huh?
I'm sorry?
I said I'm still alive.
So you say this will be sometime in the future, but not right now that everyone will have this?
We have bought our own server, one of the most powerful servers we could buy in the market. It's been getting installed as we speak by highly qualified expert, webmasters. Fortunately, or luckily, they're Iranians. And once installed, you will see a different pattern of teaching from next couple of weeks from now.
Okay.
There will not be so much theoretical. We'll show things in reality as well. With as far as I'm a student myself in my forum, that our people on the forum will go through it, will go to develop it. A lot of people have copied our patterns, but they haven't managed to reach because they missed their point.
Sure.
Scientists at UCLA 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they made a copy of the reactor and they asked us, we made one, it doesn't work. Do you mind if we send out that you can send us one of the working units back? So MIT scientists have worked on it. I see things from MIT which is coming out, which is part of the patents which has never been published. We submitted our first patent when we went to see the officials of the World Patent and European Patent down here. The three scientists, nuclear physicists, 2 Italian and a British, after 2.5 hours of investigation, they gave us 20 minutes to dismiss it. And then when they saw a working unit, And then they said, yes, you've discovered something correct. It's correct. What you've discovered, you have discovered the principle of gravity. But you cannot pattern a natural, normal thing. So you have to rewrite your pattern. They told us how to rewrite it. That's why if we go to European pattern, our second edition of our first pattern is different than the first one, because we were advised how to write it. So European pattern, by advising us how to write it, they already accepted it's a new discovery, but they won't announce it. And our intention wasn't to put a pattern in, our intention was to let everybody have the knowledge. If I wanted to distribute my knowledge around the world, it would have taken me years. Now, using the system which is set up, I use the European pattern, world pattern, and my knowledge is freely in everyone's hand. They served our purpose. So you all have it, you can go on it and read it, and if you can understand it, you can copy it.
Okay, very good. What about Stuxnet, you know, the Stuxnet virus? Do you think that this affected Iran?
What? What is it?
Stuxnet virus. Have you not heard of the Stuxnet virus that infected the computers?
I'm very ignorant. I don't listen to this.
I know, but it affected the computers supposedly in Iran. Did you hear that?
No.
The nuclear physicists in Iran, have you not heard them speak of a virus that entered their
I hear about things happening.
It's a computer virus.
But the thing is, you have to understand, I have nothing to do with the Iranian nuclear program.
Okay.
I research independently, like the way I was invited to China, like the way I was invited to, I'm giving a lecture next Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in 3 different places in Italy. If people would like to come, go on the internet, you can see it. The advertising for it goes out tonight.
What about Russia? Are you working with Russia?
Next question.
Okay. Well, I have to say you must be working with Russia, because I can't imagine you can work with the United States and not work with Russia. We sort of have 3 countries, China, Russia, and the United States. I don't think any one of those countries is going to let you give them information without the other one being, you know, involved as well. So
I'll tell you something.
Yes.
If the people, I'm sure, that are listening to this program,
yes,
I don't mention nothing.
uh-huh.
One of the officials asked me, have you met the other ambassador? I said, yes. He said, they let you in? I said, they don't let us in, they talk to us. So you're not the only one who's puzzled, but a scientist at my level, a lot of doors are open to us because we are a peaceful organization.
Yes.
And we work that way, and thanks to a lot of people, it's kept that way.
Okay, can I ask you, have you met world leaders? For example, have you met Obama and have you met Putin?
Next question.
Okay, so you can't talk about that. Okay, very interesting.
I said there is no kiss and tell in diplomacy.
Uh-huh. All right, let me see what other questions I have.
It's their job to say they have. When I was invited to Sierra Leone, the officials, the president, the officials wanted to show that I was there. That's how we handed over the key on a live program at 10 o'clock in the morning on television. They were proud of receiving it, and now we are collaborating with them on their agriculture and other bits in the university. It depends on the leaders who want to associate themselves.
The ones that want to go public, you allow them to do so.
They allow themselves. I'm nobody. I just follow the lead.
I see. Okay. Let me see. There's something about a crash of a space shuttle. Can you confirm there was a test of some kind of, I don't know, somebody is asking this question. Something about a crash of a space shuttle. I don't know. Can you confirm it was a test? Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't know anything about that. I don't spend time on the net reading news.
I see. Well.
Or on the television. Because if you look, I have three old sons, or big boys, I call them.
Uh-huh.
And they're doing the PhDs and the rest. And I was sitting and watching a television program with them a couple of weeks ago when he was here. I said, look at the BBC. You got the BBC, you got CNN, you got the Russian television, and you got Chinese television and the rest. I said, look at them. I just flicked the news through for him. I said, look, British only talk about killing and war. CNN talks about the same kind of thing. You look at the Chinese, they all talk about development and what has been achieved and all that. I said, news is not the way we've been brought up to listen to. If you really want to learn about how peaceful it could be, just go on this Chinese television channel. And then you see, you feel the comfort, you sit and you watch and you learn. With CNN, it's one after another, war, killing, war, this, that. You listen to Chinese news, it's all serenity, they're all beautiful things, what is progress. If there is something, they show a little bit and that's it, it's finished. So what's the use of all this? I was watching news which is propaganda for one direction and one direction only.
Okay, well, as a journalist, I have to say we need to know what's going on around the world, but I agree with you. It should be both positive and negative, of course, because if there's something happening, for example, right now there is a problem in Egypt. The people are rebelling against the president, trying to get more powers. This is important.
Can we not talk about politics? Politics is not my job.
I understand. Okay, let me see. So the person who asked the question about a nuclear event, did a nuclear event happen recently in Iran? Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't know. I'm not a spokesman for Iran.
I understand.
I was born in Iran. It's a beautiful nation. I didn't go to Iran for 30 odd years. I was invited. I went to Iran 5 years ago. I served my nation very well with transferring the technology. I respect the officials, I respect the officer, His Excellency Ahmadinejad and His Holiness Ayatollah Khamenei. And these people are there to develop the nation. I did the same thing when I went to China, and I did the same thing when I was invited to Korea. I met with all the Samsung family and the rest for the technology development. I've done the same thing with the Belgians. I've done the same thing, hopefully soon, with two or three more nations who receive the key. So these things are irrelevant. I spent time in developing peace and talking about war.
Okay. What about Fukushima? Is it possible that your technology could clean up what has happened with Fukushima?
Next question.
Ah, interesting. Okay, what about the Gulf of Mexico? You know the Gulf of Mexico and the situation with the oil?
Yes, I spent 11 days in prison in the hand of the Canadians for it, yes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your answer. What?
I said, yes, I know about the case. I spent 11 days in the hand of the Canadians in prison, threatened to be killed.
What does that have to do with the Gulf of Mexico, and why were you in prison in Canada?
I was on the way to Mexico. They got me on the transit.
You were going to try to help them?
We have developed the technologies on the forum, and secondly is on my second book. We have developed the technology where you can convert the gases into solid at room temperature and pressure. So up to now, we did not know that gases can become solid state at room temperature. Understanding the state of gravitational magnetic field, I have developed a simple system where I can capture the CO2 and convert it into a solid at room temperature and pressure. And most of the problem with the Gulf of Mexico is CH4 methane gas, which comes from the ground. And we have converted methane gas into solid. Is a greenish material, and we could have offered a huge advantage to British Petroleum and to the American government. They literally capturing the methane gas and all the gases and converting them to a solid, like literally become like a dust. And I show this in my presentations. This is the fourth state of matter which we have discovered. The three state of matter is solid, gas, and liquid, which appears by the change of environmental temperature and pressure. The fourth state of matter is what we call gases, which converts into solid at room temperature and pressure according to the gravitational magnetic field. So you can have gas of hydrogen or helium at a solid room temperature as a solid state. And the people who say it's crazy, I always say in my presentations, your body is made of amino acid, which is a carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. These are four gases. You should be a balloon. How come you're solid and you're flesh and meat? So the body has learned the process of converting matter, gases into matter, which becomes part of us. So if you tell me I'm crazy, you can't have gases at room temperature, so you deny your own existence. How come you're solid? Now we understand the fourth state of matter, we call gas.
Okay, so you had a solution, and then did the Canadians put you in jail for your solution? I don't understand.
No, I was going there, I was captured. The guy knew what they were doing. I wrote something on my forum last week.
Okay.
It says we are finishing with Canada and the Canadians with this problem because this keeps on coming up. I was kidnapped by the Canadians on board of a plane.
Wow.
I was interrogated for 4 days. I was told I'm going to be killed. I was told they told my family they're going to kill me if they first get to know. They kept me 11 days and they sent me back to Belgium again. If Canada was such a country looking after scientists or whatever, how come they send back one of the top scientists back to another country if it was not, the plan wasn't to, what do you call it, steal technology?
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so, very interesting.
I'm not the only scientist. Canadians, there's still a lot of scientists transit in their country and they threaten them, they steal technology, and then they develop it and commercialize it.
Okay, I understand. Let me ask you this. Are you aware of what this black oil that is called nanotech oil it's in the Gulf, and it was what the Falklands War was involved with? Do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay. Do you think that, are you working with corporations? I mean, I hear you talk about working with governments and scientists.
No, we don't work with any corporations at the moment, no, because when you work with corporations, they try to dictate what you do and what they want to do.
Right.
We are independently financed, so we are not financed by no government and no organization. I financed the technology for years in research myself, and now the foundation is financially self-sufficient. So we support ourselves, so we don't need to go into cooperation. But if the organizations come, we teach them, there is no problem. Because this technology cannot be done by the old and the young and people who have no education in certain fields. So we still need somebody to manufacture things for us. Okay, you can have the energy system. What about the medical system? If you get it wrong, you kill yourself. So you need these huge organizations to supply you or make these things for the people who don't have the capability to do so. So this thing of big multi-organizations are the biggest. You will not exist without them, but on the other hand, now the technology is in the hand of people and the organization. If you can help all your people around your village and your city, then you become one of the multinationals, because then you make everything for them. They have to pay you for it. People don't come and make things freely in your factory. You have to pay your workers, you have to pay for them. So what you blame, you become one yourself. So this way everybody has it. The ones who can't get it, they go to a supplier, and the ones who can help it, the suppliers know other people can do the same, so it brings a balance in the society.
Okay.
The way we put it.
All right. Let's see. John Searle. Are you familiar with John Searle?
I heard of him.
He's a free energy individual. He has worked for a very long time with.
Has he produced any energy, I presume, yet? That he works?
I don't know whether he has. I think he recently was financed, and I think he now is. He comes out of England. Actually, I did an interview with him quite a long time ago, and there's something called SEGIGV technology.
Do you know who made syrup known?
Who makes what?
Who made him known? Apparently, somebody claimed to me recently. Do you know who made Mr. Cyril to be known internationally?
Well, no.
Jet propulsion NASA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what they say. So,
but for a long time,
to speak.
For a long time, he was living in a very, very modest situation, hidden in Britain, and he wasn't known by anybody. Couldn't get financing or anything. And now he's gotten financing. So you're saying it's because Jet Propulsion Lab is backing him?
They brought him up. They brought him into public view. They brought him into OPEC.
I see.
The thing is, nowadays, a lot of scientists were trying to develop things for helping mankind.
Yes.
It is not the exclusivity of nobody. It's not like olden days it was one Aristotle and one thing.
That's right.
Now everybody is Einstein. If you look at it, the world is full of Einstein. Because everybody contributes in their field of work. Chemist, Einstein did something with physics. He didn't do anything in the medicine. He didn't do anything in food. He didn't do anything in materials. So we have Einsteins in every field of the culture and every field of, existence.
Okay, do you know who Norm Bergram is?
No, never heard of it.
All right, I did an interview with him.
Names, I sometimes don't even remember my own name. So,
all right, but he's a very old man. He's 95 years old, but he's still very, very vibrant. And he worked for a long time for the government in space travel in this area. And he is a man who has written a book called The Ring Makers of Saturn. It's quite a famous book at this point. Ring Makers of Saturn.
If you read book number 4, which is coming out, it's already written, it's called for picturing. We explain how the ring of Saturn are created.
Okay, so does he. So does he.
We have a reactor, we can show it.
Okay, he says that there are ships in the rings of Saturn and they are creating the rings.
Oh, this is a lot of cockle-goo.
You don't agree?
The ring of Saturn are created through magnetic fields.
Okay, and how are those magnetic fields created?
It's internally to do with the inner structure of the Saturn itself. I've explained this. There's one chapter explaining this fully, and we have reactors which we tested and is correct. This is a characteristic of the gaseous planets. The rings, we see them is not exclusively of Saturn. We see it in the other gaseous planets. So there has to be a principle behind it. Now we understand the principle behind it. But to us, Saturn is more visible. But this is one of the, we even see rings around the sun. The same characteristic is the way the fields are created, interaction of the internal structure affects the external structure of magnetic field interaction.
Okay, so, is it associated also with the spin of the planet?
Every planet is spins, otherwise there won't be a planet.
Right, but these rings, I mean, in other words, you're saying if a planet was to be creating something, there's no reason to say whether it would stay in its periphery. It could just go out into space. Something has to cause.
You see, the thing is, this is what I explain in all my talks. The position of any entity, let's say the position of Earth in respect to the Sun, which is kept in a certain position, doesn't matter where it is decided by the gravitational and magnetic field of the Earth and gravitational and magnetic field of the Sun. When they interact, where they find balance, this is the position where the Earth stands.
I understand.
So the rest of the structure of the universe is the same. Just change the sizes. Make it a solar system in the galaxy. Where our solar system in the galaxy is, it is decided by its gravitational magnetic field of the sun, which creates, in respect to other entities in that position in the galaxy and in the whole of the galaxy. So, ring of Saturn has a reason, and it's just because due to interaction of the gravitational magnetic field and of the inner structure of the Saturn in respect to its outer core. So when you replicate it, you see the rings always created, because I call in the book number 4, which is coming out, it's called The Structure of the Solar System. We answer a lot of these nonsense historical Godfather's bedtime stories which have no meaning with the scientific, and we explain it scientifically what happened. The rings are the characteristics of the what do you call it, gaseous planets, and the reason for it is because they have an inner core made of a solid material. This is what we call a rain fallout in the book. What it means is that as you have the vapor of the cloud going up and they become solid, they become cloud and they rain back, the planetary system works the same way. As the radiation of gravitational magnetic field of the sun radiates and it goes out to the outer boundary, as they solidify and they come, they rain back into it, because the gravitational field of the sun attracts them back again, the same as the gravitational field of the earth attracts the rain back down. So they go all through the same process in different areas, and they have a specific characteristic.
Okay.
Why it just goes clockwise, we can explain it now. We have a physical system, we can explain it. Why Uranus is going on its vertical axis, we can explain it. It's all done in the book.
Okay, very good, and I'm sure people will be very interested to get your book when it comes out. Can you explain, we are supposedly here in 2012 going into alignment with the galactic center. Are you familiar with this concept?
I see a lot of comments around my website about it. A lot of people are waiting for the end of the world in about
okay, we are not talking about the end of the world here, but there is apparently we are moving into alignment with the galactic center.
That's normal. That is a normal process. So
yes,
we should be able to see it.
Are you familiar with the cloud? I believe the cloud is called G2 that has been discovered, that is also moving into the alignment with the galactic rift at the same time, this dense cloud. Have you heard about this? Scientists discovered it 6 months ago?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Because are you familiar, for example, with the work of Paul Laviolette? Paul Laviolette.
The name rings a bell.
I have interviewed him. He's a physicist. Some people say that he is the scientist who is most like Einstein of our time. He has written a book about what he calls the superwave that comes from possibly the galactic center. Have you heard of anything like this?
No.
Are you aware of the energetics that are affecting...
If he talks, stop. If he talks about such a thing, like having a magnetic field wave coming from the center, just if it's too much to understand, go for a parallel, smaller, you understand. We have this huge explosion on the surface of the sun, which releases a huge magnetic and material magnetic gravitational field into the space of the solar system, which disturbs the satellites on the rest. So it should be the same for a bigger brother, what we call the galaxy. The center of the galaxy carries what we call a principal matter, or what's become fashionable to call the black hole. And this black hole, if it's active, it has certain releases of sudden surges, and it can happen. There is no doubt about it. So he can't be far out if he speaks about the thing in a bigger scale, but it's imaginary.
Okay, well, this is what he talks about. Now, what about the notion that that we are having a certain pressure happen on the heliosphere that is, that comes from the sun. As a result, there is incoming energies coming into our solar system at this time because of where we're going through space. That's affecting our sun and all the planets. In other words, the planet's heating up. You've heard of this at all?
No, but the position of a solar system, our solar system, or any entity, even a cell, or even an amino acid, even a proton, the size of it is dictated by the outside environment, other magnetic gravitational fields around it. A balloon can only expand to the size which its environment allows it. So it can take the size of the roof, no more. So our solar system is the same. It can only expand, and only because it expands to where it is other magnetic gravitational fields within the solar system allow it. So if that's the condition, if one of them changes outside, so it definitely affects the pressure inside what we call the solar system. So if there is such activity outside, it can affect us, but how it does and what it does, it's very hard to say, because Earth, our solar system, is three-dimensional, and is literally a speck of dust in a huge magnetic field of the universe. So everything in this solar system is played together. Depends which way the wind comes.
Okay, I hear you. All right, let's see. I'm seeing if there's some more questions in the chat. That's what I'm doing here. Is there a particular person or company that has been a major funder, who has funded your company, your organization?
No.
No particular.
I wish there was somebody comes and gives us 10 minutes and say do something. No.
Okay.
No. Put it this way, as I said before, when I was in Iran, I was scared. They wanted to pay me like a salary for while I was there, while I was working there, at least to cover the expenses of my family in Belgium. And after the first payment received from Iran, the Credit Bank of Belgium wrote a letter to my wife that you cannot receive any money from Iran. So, except for food. So I said to my wife, send me a sandwich and a bill, and put the amount which I get paid as wages for supplying a sandwich to feed your husband. So no, we are not getting funded by nobody.
Okay.
Belgians are very cruel, and they're being dictated to what they do. They're just a servant to somebody else somewhere else. So how can you let a woman and a child to be in poverty or not have food to eat because you are pursuing some idiotic thinking or the way you do?
Okay, I agree.
African wilds, you haven't seen the wild people in the West. These people are animals. They call themselves leaders. They deserve to be in the toilets, not to sit in the office of Prime Minister.
All right. Let's see. Do you have some governments that are ready to deploy your sort of your reactors or anything? Do you have governments that? No, okay, you're not going to. Okay. Let me ask you, did you study the Sumerian tablets in order to come to any understanding of your technology?
Can you tell me what's a Sumerian?
Sumerian tablet.
What's it?
Sumer. You know, from the Middle East in the early, this culture.
I've never seen such a thing.
Cylinder seals, ancient technology. you know, ancient technology that's depicted.
Why people think we need to be, just because we maturing in our own intelligence, why do we have to think somebody knew it before us?
Is it not possible that some of this technology, you know, the Nazis, they went into the technology of the Brahmanas in India. They also studied the Sumerian tablets. They went to Egypt.
You know, when we had the first and second ambassadorial meeting in the Keshe Foundation Center, we had so much, our people can tell you, so much pressure put on us by the Third Reich or the Germans or whatever they call themselves to get hold of our technology for the spaceship development. And we kept on telling them, they said they are the government of Germany, and we said, if you're a government, Germany is a democratic country, and we only deal with who is appointed as ambassador or the government of Germany here in Belgium. So you go to your embassy, get your diplomatic passport, you come in, we let you in. So I came to understand what you're talking about, what they are chasing and what they are following. And they follow us very, very closely. They are aware of it.
Okay, well, perhaps you know that they you know, the Third Reich never was defeated, that they actually, through paperclip...
I don't get involved with these things. I got to know this when the people around me explained to me what's going on.
I see. Okay, well, I'm glad that the people around you did.
I have the very good advisors.
Okay. All right. So we've been doing this for a while, and I really appreciate your patience and your wonderful answers to my questions. I don't. Do you remember the blue spiral over Norway? Do you remember that? Did you hear about that? There was a.
I've seen a picture. These are physical effects. If there are such a thing, there are physical effects. You can create a lot of these magnetic field effects.
Right.
In different ways. We see them when we run the test. We are running a new type of reactors now for trial. I'm setting it up. And I make an assumption what I will see. And I'm sure my assumptions are 99% wrong because I see things which I wasn't expecting to see. So when you see things, then you have to explain it how magnetic fields of different strength and different things, interaction between the matter and the field, interaction between the different strength of the fields, then they give different appearances. And then you have to understand how and why. It's very much, if you are in the diamond business, and you ladies love diamonds, you like pink diamond or blue diamond. But you don't see any source of diamond. The reason being is some gases, minute microscopic gas is somewhere which in interaction with the light reflects the pink color or whatever, depending what was gas inside it.
I see.
And this is the same thing happens in the universe, but in the fluid or in the gaseous state. You have to understand the reason. But in a lot of cases in the diamond business, because I used to be in diamond business for years, in diamond business you see a brilliant diamond with no impurities in it. But the reality is the mother is always black, it's the carbon in the middle. So what they do, they cut it out, you don't see it. But does it mean that diamond was created on its own this way? No, you have to find a seed, you have to find a mother. And this is the same process in the world of creation. You have to understand where it came from, not what is in your hand.
Okay, are you, if you come from the diamond industry, then you're certainly aware that diamonds are very plentiful and that they have created a false market.
Oh, you don't want to know what I know. I prefer to keep quiet.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you know about using, are you using any of the diamonds and crystal technology in plasma physics?
We create the diamond structure quite frequently for different purposes. When I discovered the first time diamond structure, I took the material to the diamond bourse in Antwerp, and they were surprised. I said to them, I took a zirconium, size of a 5 carats, coated with pure diamond, and whatever machine they put on it says a pure diamond. I said, the only thing you can't do, you can't weigh it. After all the 3 tests with electronics and everything else confirmed it's a pure diamond, I said, now weigh it. It's zirconium. So you can diamond coat any material, even gold can be diamond coated. It used to be on our website for a long time. If you can find the archives of the Keshe Foundation on their web, you will see we used to show them with a diamond detector and everything else.
Okay, well, speaking of gold, are you aware of the special properties of gold? Are you using any of those properties in your, plasma physics reactor?
We understand the structure of the plasma, and we've done it before. You can create gold out of fresh air.
Will it be the same kind of gold as what?
Yes, yeah. So when it becomes matter, yes.
Okay. Because, well, are you aware of monatomic gold?
Next question.
Okay. Well, I can't see any new questions in the chat, and I'm going to ask the people that are listening, if you are there and you can Skype me questions, or you have any specific questions for Keshe. We have him here. He's been very patient with us. I'm going to let him go if I don't get some good cutting edge questions coming at me here. So if anyone can post to the chat more questions. I guess somebody wants to know what you expect from the immediate future for the Keshe Foundation.
I think watch the news for next 90 days. You will understand.
All right.
But we don't expect, we know where we are going.
Okay. Somebody is asking about generators that were supposed to be delivered.
That will be kept to target. We don't go any further. We keep our target as we promised.
You will keep your target as promised. Okay.
Well, this way we try. They've tried to stop us 2 or 3 times now, but we try.
Oh, okay. So, in other words, you're being stopped by what governments?
No, they try to block. They try to.
Okay.
Actually, it's happened. It's very interesting. Every time they try to block us,
yes,
they become more advanced, trying to bypass the block through science, and it's become very interesting to catch them out there.
I see. Okay, yes, somebody who seems to be very excited about these generators, and I guess they must be somebody who is working with a company that, or whoever it is that didn't receive their generators or something.
The generators are not due to be delivered yet, anyway.
Okay.
And secondly, people better have the money when we are ready to deliver them, because one of the problem is that it's in our contract that we tell you where your system is, but 99% assured that if you pick up your system, they won't let it go where it's supposed to go to your country. So you're going to lose your money and your system. So we're trying to do that bridge for you at the moment, that you don't lose it, and at the same time you can use it.
Okay. I don't know, this chat is going so fast right now. Somebody is reposting. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I've answered the generator question. Maybe this is not good enough time span when technologies are, again, somebody wants to know when the technology will be available to everyone.
It is already. It's on the screen for 5 years.
Well,
it's putting it on the net. The technology is medicine, is food, is agriculture, is health, is motion. We are a space program, so we cover everything a man needs in the space.
Okay.
So what would they like? You give them the energy, they go on the sea. You give them the agriculture, they want something else. So if somebody says when the technology is going to be open, when it's going to be open, ask a single question. Can you do all of it? So it needs a spectrum of people to do the whole lot.
Okay, well, we obviously, I mean, if you're dealing with governments, you say that you've withheld a particular key that they don't have.
I have not withheld. It's in the patent. People
okay, but they don't understand it. They don't. So
they
you're
understand it. They read it with the old terms of physics. Read it with the new terms of physics, which we have developed. We can do it tomorrow.
Very good. Okay, well, that's good to know.
People who've done it. There are people who have done it and they are doing it.
So what do you think about Tesla?
He was a genius.
Okay. Did you learn from him?
No, I actually got to know about Tesla more in past 2 or 3 months because I came across Professor Miles of Germany. He attended a medical conference which I was invited just to be present, not to give a lecture. I was invited more or less for a dinner, and I met this guy. He said, who is? I've never heard of him before. And he explained to me something, and he explained about Tesla. And I said, who are you? He says, I'm Professor Mine. And we got to know. I said, I'll come and see you next week to see how you work. So the following week, I flew from Belgium to his house and to his lab in Germany. I spent a couple of days with him, and I said, would you like to start the Keshe Technology teaching sessions on 21st of September in Belgium to be the first lecturer? He said yes, and he came and he gave us a lecture, and I understood what he meant by a scalar wave and Tesla. And in the afternoon, I explained you scientists talking about the same thing because you don't understand it. So that's how I came to understand Tesla. And I started reading a little bit about what and how he did and what he did. He understood physics in a matter level, and I work in a plasma level, which is totally different. But it's very interesting what he's done.
Okay. What about Wilhelm Reich? Are you familiar with his work?
No.
No?
No.
Wilhelm Reich?
I'm supposed to know all the people you mentioned. I would have no time to do research.
I know, but Wilhelm Reich is very, since you deal with plasma and you deal with free, more or less magnetics, etc., I highly recommend you get your advisors to tell you about Wilhelm Reich. He's dead.
I have one principle, sorry to jump in.
Yes?
I don't read other people's work, because if I do, I start thinking like them. I work according to my own principle, and I'm on my own way, so nobody can...
All right, well then let me say this. If somebody looks at your work, I think that they should also compare it to Wilhelm Reich. I think that they will probably see some very strong parallels. I'm going to ask you one more name. Do you know who Trevor James Constable is?
No.
You've never heard of him either?
Don't think so, no.
Okay. All right. Some people who are scientists that are listening to me.
Is that a constable as a painter?
No. This person, he was able to. He can make it rain and create clouds, and has dealt with basically hidden entities that are part of space. Very interesting.
You see, let me explain something very simple to you. If you read book 1, the universal order of creation matter, if you read the book 2, the structure of the light, and the book 3, the origin of the universe, you come to understand one thing very simple. There is always a source. We call it the sun, we call it the black hole, we call it the antimatter. There's always a source. As this source radiates out this gravitational magnetic field, and these gravitational magnetic field lose their strength into their environment due to friction and absorption and losing some of it, they get to the strength that becomes matter, strength. Matter is a magnetic field strength spectrum, part of it. It's not just something because it's solid. Yeah?
Yes.
So if you can interfere with that and reduce this gap between the beginning or the center or the source and where you want the thing to appear, you can do magic because people don't understand it. But in reality, if you look at the sun, when the magnetic gravitational field of the sun come out of the sun, and they literally radiate outwards, and they interact with other fields in the plasma of the solar system, and they become weak enough to become the strength of the matter, they become visible to us. So, if where you want to be, if you can get, let's say, magnetic gravitational field become visible at the strength it left the sun at the line of Jupiter. So, if you can interfere with that field at the point of Earth, that field become matter at Earth. So, these scientists who play games of I can change this and that, they don't understand the whole thing. Somehow they manage to block the motion from Sun to Jupiter and show the matter. So what it means, they create enough friction that the field transfers to matter field.
I understand.
So this is all games. When you sit here, the people who speak about free energy are crooks. The people who talk about we can convert nothing out of energy, it means they are magicians who they don't show you what they're hiding in their pocket. So if you understand about the plasma technology, what we call plasma science, plasma physics, plasma technology, which I developed, I tell you everything. It's a source. Where do you want to catch the field? That will be at that point according to strength. It's very much, if it's too hard to understand, the white light breaks down, it becomes, the light just breaks down to different colors according to their strength. As a weaker, they go from gamma ray down to X-ray, and then the rest of it.
I understand.
It depends in a bigger scale.
Okay.
So there is no difference. And these people say we can create rain out of nowhere. If it's a rain, it means the plasmatic magnetic field of the hydrogen and oxygen at that point has converted into a solid, and it becomes rain. So the rest of this is all magic games which people like to make money out of it.
Well, no. Okay, this person is a scientist who's written books about this sort of thing, and I think you would find him very interesting.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's what he most probably explains how the conversion at that point is done.
Okay.
You see, let me explain. When you attend my lectures, you come in as a normal, you go out as a nuclear physicist in 2 hours. That's how simple it is. We make it complicated, then we can say we are intelligent. I'm not intelligent. I'm as normal as anybody else. I'm the same as the others.
Okay. Well, yes, you explained it very well, and I appreciate that. Let me ask you about CERN. You familiar with CERN, and that.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And have you had any dealings with CERN?
No, but I know about the joke theory of the God particle.
You don't believe it?
When I was sitting on the table with the King of Belgium a few weeks ago, he asked me, what do you think about the bosons and this?
Yes.
And this God particle. I said, Your Majesty, it's very simple. As the magnetic field lose their strength, they become the strength of the matter. Then you will understand that you, Your Majesty, and me, we are all God particles, because somewhere the magnetic gravitational field of the sun has reduced in strength enough that it's appeared as matter, which is you and me. So if these scientists in CERN are looking in the plasma to see where the field reduced enough in the strength that become physical, that they can see it, and they call it a God particle, so all of us on this planet are God particles.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's nonsense.
Well, but if they do figure this out, and then they can use it as a building block to create.
Usually we do it already. It's already been done 7 or 8 years ago. We announced it. But the thing is, whatever Keshe Foundation does is not good enough because it's censored.
I see.
But this reduction of the magnetic field, this is what we call loading in the reactors. This is how you create matter in the space. You allow the loading to be at certain. You want aluminium. You create gravitational magnetic field of aluminium at a certain point in your reactor, and it just out of nowhere you collect aluminium. We did that with gold in Tehran. I still have the sample, actually, is in my lab. I brought part of it back with me. So this is nonsense. This God particle is a lot of rubbish which they come up with. It makes a good news, but in fact, it's a lot of nonsense.
Okay, let me ask you, there's a couple of scientists that won a Nobel Prize recently for supposedly being able to isolate a particle, and you know how I don't know if it's a photon or what, electron, I think it's electron, where they usually when you look at it, you affect it. And they supposedly have made it in such a way that you don't affect it at all, or at least very little. And do you believe that this is true?
It can be done. You can make a neutral magnetic field position, yes.
Okay.
That is scientifically is possible and it can be done. And it's just understanding their way of, nobody's understand the whole structure. This is the beauty of science. We're all like a big family holding each one a corner of a carpet, and this carpet has got a lot of corners. Together we can hold it nice, but it needs all of us to add into this picture.
Okay, so, someone wants to know why if the Keshe Foundation, they're saying, is going to be handed over to the UN. Have you heard that?
No. Let me explain. This is a lot of hot air which is going around. Go on the Keshe Foundation website and read it. As long as I'm alive, Keshe Foundation stays the way it is. When I die, Keshe Foundation board of directors can be appointed. They will carry 3 directors. One director will be appointed by United Nations, which is from public, civil, from governmental, political side. One member of the board of directors will be appointed by the Universal House of Justice, which is all the religions of the world will appoint one person to be on this board because they're all equal. And then the Universal House of Justice, which is all the religions together, will elect 8 top scientists around the world, and United Nations will choose one of those scientists to be the 3rd member of the board of the Keshe Foundation. Which means on the board, the religion, the politics, and the science equally will be represented, and the foundation will be a correct way. Okay. And that's how it's set up, and that's how it will be run. And it will not be given to United Nations, it will not be given to Universal Justice, it will not be given to the Baha'is, to Jews, to Christians, or anybody else. All the religions will appoint one person, politicians appoint one person, and scientists will appoint one person. And then together they will, because the power and the strength and the work of the foundation will be realized in 20, 30 years, what has been said.
Okay, very good. And none of this will even happen until after you die, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a structure, is in the mandate. After 30 days of my death, they have time to accept it. In that time, the 2nd member of the board of directors of Keshe Foundation immediately takes over to see it through. He's a well-known public notary, he's a lawyer, he's a man of law, and then it's in their hand how they want to do it. They've already been offered, they know their position. They have to wait till I die, and then they decide what they want and how they want to do it. Because the foundation will carry a lot of scientific strength, not anything else.
Okay. And have you studied the pyramids?
No.
No? Not at all?
No.
Okay. Have you studied what are called platonic solids?
No, I don't know what even that is.
Oh, okay. Well...
What is a platonic physics?
Well, I am not a scientist, but I do understand platonic solids would be the basic sort of building blocks that they would talk about as in geometric shapes. Okay, what about hyperdimensional physics? Do you work in this area?
What does that mean, hyperdimensional? We work with a magnetic field stronger than matter field, yes, quite frequently. Which means we work with what is fashionable. People talk about what we call transition energy and transition matter. What is fashionable now, they call it the dark matter and dark energy. And I work quite frequently with what we call principal matter, or what we call antimatter range of the spectrum of the magnetic field. We run our reactors according to that.
Okay, what about, have you heard of, for example, in hyperdimensional physics, there is a measurement 19.5, and at a certain point on planets, certain scientists have been able to pinpoint this 19.5 as being an area of power or significance.
It's the first time I hear it now.
Oh, so you haven't heard that? Okay. Have you heard anything about ley lines, for example?
No, no. I'm very ignorant. I told you. I feel that my work, where I work, is I look at the structure of the universe, and I work everything in that structure and the way. 2009, when we published the first book, The Universal Order of Creation of Matters, one of the organizations which organizes lectures and conferences is parallel to NASA, or part of NASA structure. They invited me to give a lecture at Johns Hopkins University. So we submitted the application to the embassy, and nearly 2 or 3 months we waited, the visa didn't appear. I know the people in the embassy, I know some diplomats, and I said to them, what is going on? It's just we are invited to give a lecture by the Department of Energy and NASA. And he said to me, Mehran, we have a problem with you. I said, what's the problem? He said, we are boycotting Iran for nuclear physics or nuclear technology. And then we invite one of the nuclear physicists, the Iranian passport holder, to come to America and tell how the Iranians are doing nuclear space technology. It doesn't work. So I said, are we friends or are we enemies? You can organize a conference. I come with the greatest of the pleasure. I'm giving 3 lectures in Italy, not this Saturday, next Saturday. I've been awarded a Golden Time Medal of Italy in one of the cities, which I'm receiving it next Saturday. And then I give a lecture, room about 700 people is advertised, and one for 1,000. And I gave a lecture, just I was on weekend holiday in Florence 2 weeks ago with 150, 200 people. So I give a lecture. If you can send me an invitation, I'll take it to Mr. Goodman's office. If he decides, what decides for me, I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay, very good. I would like that very much, and I think we'll try to do that. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions, and thank you. You've been very good and very patient with us.
You're welcome. Somehow I have time for you, Kerry.
Well, I appreciate that.
I used to give a lot of time to Alan Sterling, and he abused it. So I warned him very clearly. I warned him, and he put something again out of line, and that's it. The time of destroying scientists and destroying people, trying to make a hot news is finished. We have to work together in a correct way. And the people who don't understand it, they have to live by their own principle. So people like you are very open. The point is put across the right way. It has to be there. We have to be criticized. We have to be questioned. Otherwise, anybody comes and says whatever they like. But the time of destroying scientists for the benefit of selling a few ads on the internet is a waste of time.
Okay, I agree with that. All right, at this time I'm going to let you go, and I want to thank you very much, Keshe, for coming forward, and I hope that we can get you over to the United States to have you speak.
You send me the invitation and the organization, I'll take it to Mr. Goodman, His Excellency, to this site. I will do. I give a talk somewhere in January the 30th to the Armenian television in Los Angeles. It's been pre-booked, I think it's about that time somewhere.
I see.
And what do you call it? The conference in Italy, it'll be very nice to be there because we might disclose some things we've never done before.
And when is the date for that?
Just give me 1 second. I'll read this for you. 1 second. This called Talent Gold 2012 in Brescia. And then I give a presentation in Padova on the 16th, Sunday the 16th, the 700 seats.
In December or January?
No, in December, in 7-10 days time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and then I give a lecture on Monday in Bologna with the mayor of Bologna present, with the 1,000 seats auditorium.
Well, I would like very